this is one that truly represents how bad of a game to play.
I want to talk a little bit about JJ McCarthy. He might not be the best quarterback. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would disagree. And I would disagree because
And Emilio, I'm calling my player of the week, and it is my player of the week is gonna. Welcome back to Your Detroit Now. I'm your host Musa. This is my co-host Emilio. What up?
what up, Musa?
Today we'll be talking about the Lions' tough loss against the Minnesota Vikings that ended our streak against them. Miller, what were your thoughts on this game?
It was an ugly game, man. This was going to be our 6th win in a row. Home, we've never beat them more than 4 times prior to this. So losing the 6th game in a row was pretty annoying. It was mostly annoying because the guys just didn't look ready to play.
And all the injuries, our secondary. I think we needed DJ Reed back.
Big time. I don't even know. It was so bad, I don't even know if we can blame the injuries. Can we?
Mm-mm. You know who I think we can't blame on and who had an incredible game? The
Who's that?
Michigan JJ McCarthy.
Man, JJ looked good. The problem is, I don't know if it was. Here's what I don't know. I don't know. Did we make him look good or did he play good? It was kind of interesting because we made him look like an all-star, like an MVP, a Pro Bowler.
But is he those things?
Probably not. I mean, this is what? He's in his 2nd year in the league, but it's really his 1st year because he didn't play at all last year.
That injury killed him. And I'm just happy he had a great game.
Yeah, I mean, of course. So as a Michigan fan, you got to be excited for that. The Aiden Hutchinson, JJ McCarthy reunion.
Yeah. Let's get to some of the stats around the game. JJ McCarthy, 14 for 25, 143 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception to Terrion Arnold, which was his first interception in his career. So congrats. Jared Goff, 25 for 37, 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. I didn't even realize he had this much until the end of the game.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize that either.
Uh, Rushing yards, Aaron Jones, 9 carries for 78 yards. David Montgomery, 11 carries for 40 yards and 1 touchdown. Emilio, I haven't seen this stat since week 1 against the Packers.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see that. Let's talk a little bit more. Remind us what happened in that Packers game.
They killed us. They were stopping our incredible backs. They were stopping our runs, and you can't really blame the refs on that. I mean, of course, they made bad calls. Like I said, the pick six by Brian Branch should have counted, but other else, I don't think you can really much blame them. The only person I said that had a great game was Isaac Tesla's one-handed catch.
Yeah. Let's jump back to this week, though, Musa. Let's finish out with the game leaders.
Jordan Addison, 2 receptions for 48 yards. Sam Laporta, 6 receptions for 97 yards and 1 touchdown. And now we're going to get to the defensive stats. Eric Wilson was their sack leader with 2. And our sack leaders, we had 5 that all had 1. Jack Campbell had 1. Derek Barnes had 1. Tyler Lacey had 1. Aiden Hutchinson had 1, and Alquadin Muhammad had 1, with 5 sacks total. And let's get to the tackle leaders. Blake Cashman, 14 tackles for 6 solo. Jack Campbell had 9 tackles for 6 solo as well. Ugly stats, ugly metrics. I'm just shocked.
Yeah, I don't think this is one. Actually, I was surprised to learn that Jared Goff had 284 yards. So I don't think this is one that truly represents how bad of a game they played. I think the numbers don't tell the story as bad as it really was. Let's jump to the team stats. Yards. Vikings 258 versus 305. Lions won that. Turnovers 1-for-1. That was an awesome interception that we had there. First downs, 20 first downs for the Vikings, 15 for the Lions. Penalties, 7 for 56 versus 10 for 76. Penalties were high both game, but 10 penalties is a lot. Third downs, they went 4 for 12. We went 5 for 17. That is probably the number one indicator of the game being as bad as it was. Only getting 5 for third down conversions out of 17 attempts, extremely embarrassing. Fourth down, we were 3 for 3. They didn't ever had a chance. Red zone, 3 for 5 for the Vikings, 1 for 3 for us. In time of possession, 28-52 versus 31-08. Vikings had 5 sacks, and those 5 sacks resulted in a loss of 27 yards for the Lions. It felt like they were sacking on every single play. It seemed like Goff had no time to throw, and you can see that in his completion percentage. He went 25 for 37 with 2 passing touchdowns. The 2 passing touchdowns are good, but the 25 for 37, that is not Jared Goff. We know Jared Goff to be a historically accurate quarterback. We saw him last year against the Seahawks, a perfect game. So, ugly game to see, only completing 25 of 37, but hopefully next week we don't see that again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Let's talk a little bit about the play calling, Musa. It seems as if the Lions were playing a little bit scared, wasn't it? Didn't it feel as if it's not the same play calling that we had seen against the Bucs, especially not the same play calling we saw against the Ravens? That was hyper aggressive, hyper exciting. Not even the same play calling we saw last year. This play calling really reminded me a lot of that Week 1 game against the Packers, where it was a combination of everything ugly.
I 100% agree.
So then that got me getting into the numbers a little bit. Lions are second worst in the league when it comes to 20-yard plus pass attempts. So what does that mean? All passing attempts more than 20 yards, Lions are the second worst in the league. We only have 13 completed 20-yard plus passes this year. Extremely embarrassing. Second worst in the league. That doesn't remind me of the Detroit Lions football that we saw last year, does it?
Not at all.
So now that got me thinking, Musa, not that the sky has fallen or the Lions are a bad team, but now it's getting me thinking, are the Lions as good as we thought they were? The Lions beat the Bucs. Are the Bucs any good? They're sitting at 5-2. We'll see next week after they come off a bye from this weekend. The Ravens we beat. We thought that was a huge game on Monday Night Football. Ravens are sitting at 3-5. Ravens are not a great team right now. They had a slow start. That doesn't mean they can't become a great team. So it's got me thinking, who did we beat that was a respectable opponent? We lost to the Packers, who just lost to the Panthers. We lost to the Chiefs. We lost to the Vikings. So Musa, really, who have we beat other than the Bucs that you could maybe say is a super big win?
None.
Yeah, I mean, none of the teams we played, we thought we had the 4th hardest schedule. We did have the 4th hardest schedule coming into the season. We can only play the teams on the schedule, so I don't know. That's just some of the things that I were thinking about, and yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss for words after this game.
Same.
Blocked field goal ended up being the reason we lost the game. Blocked field goal is just a loss of concentration there, and we only ended up losing by 3 in a what shouldn't have been a close game. 24-27. Vikings were dominant the whole time.
Yep. I want to talk a little bit about JJ McCarthy. He might not be the best quarterback, but his mental ability is amazing. He was injured last season, missed his entire rookie season. Coming back, his mental ability probably carried him this entire season. And this guy, and besides that, all his other abilities are great, but his mental is probably the one that's most shining, the most shining one out there. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would disagree. And I would disagree because I don't think he played. I think anybody would have played a great game against the defense that the Lions showed. I would say no, he's not this, shining player. I think the Lions gave him a gift of a weak defense, and yeah, I think he took advantage of that. So is he a great player? Maybe. It's kind of early in his career with the amount of games that he's played, but that is what I would have to say. I would disagree with what you said.
And I disagree with everything you say.
That's all right. He went 14 for 25.
Yeah, you think that's bad?
He only had 143 passing yards. I mean, he could have played much,
Yeah,
much better.
yeah, 2 touchdowns and 1 rushing.
Yeah, I mean, he played a good game. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like I feel like a lot of quarterbacks in the league right now could have played just as good, probably better, the way the Lions were playing. That's just my opinion.
Whatever.
All right, Musa, that's enough with the Lions. Let's go over to U of M.
Now we're heading over to college football, where Michigan's ugly win against the Purdue Boilermakers. Uh, I really don't have a lot of good things to say. I thought it was going to be a blowout, um, because Purdue is not a good team at all. They're not a good team. They don't have that great. They don't have great players. They don't have great facilities. Facilities. They don't have great coaches. I was expecting way more from us.
Yeah, the Wolverines came into the game with a 93.4% chance of winning. That left Purdue with just over 7%. Vegas thought this game coming into the game was going to be minus 21 and a half points U of M. Vegas and everybody all thought U of M was going to have a blowout win here. That was not the case.
Let's get into some of the stats around the game. Ryan Brown, 19 for 24, 133 yards and 1 touchdown. And I have a friend who's his brother, right? Whose brother is Ryan Brown. So I was rooting for him to have a good game. Bryce Underwood, 13 for 22, 145 yards and 1 interception. Not great at all. Um, Malachi Thomas, Malachi Thomas, 15 carries for 68 yards, no touchdowns. Jordan Marshall, backup running back, Justin Saint is out. He doesn't care. He's going out for 25 carries, 185 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Emilio, I'm calling my player of the week, and it is my player of the week is going to be Jordan Marshall.
Yeah, that's a great, great pick. I saw 25 carries, 3 touchdowns, 185 yards. Looking at the numbers, this guy played outstanding.
Yeah, he did. Uh, Michael Jackson, the third, 6 receptions for 58 yards, no touchdowns. Uh, like I said, with backup running back, third string tight end, Zach Marshall, 3 receptions for 58 yards. Uh, Manny Powell was their sack leader with 1.5. Our sack leader was Derek Moore with 2. Taj Rael had 13 tackles for 11 solo. Ours was Ernest Hausman with 11 tackles for 8 solo. Uh, we beat them in every stat, maybe except the receiving yards and the tackles. But yeah, I'm just shocked. I was expecting high expectations. Um,
Yeah, the
let's get
Wolverines most definitely underperformed here.
Yeah. Let's get into some of the team stats. 276 total yards by Purdue, 398 by Michigan. Turnovers, Purdue had 1, we had 2. We got to clean that up.
Have to.
First downs, Purdue had 18, Michigan had 20. Penalties, Purdue had 4 for 30. We had 4 for 32, only 2 yards more. Third downs, they had 5 for 12. Michigan had 6 for 11. Fourth downs, Purdue went one for 2. We didn't get a chance. And time of possession, Purdue had 32 minutes and 55 seconds. We had 27 minutes and 5 seconds. Um, yeah, like I said, I was expecting way more for the Wolverines, but we got the win, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, at one point in this game, early in this game, it was tied,
It
at,
was tied 7-7.
which I think was honest, and it was second quarter of the game, so it was a little bit shocking, I bet, for U of M fans on how slow of a start that they had.
I just want to point something out. Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall are top 5 in the Big Ten for rushing yards. Can you believe that? Your running back 1 and running back 2 to be in the top 5 in for rushing yards in the Big Ten,
Yeah, I was gonna.
which is
I,
arguably the hardest conference in college football.
oh, most definitely right now. I was gonna bring that up to you. That we got a little bit of a Sonic and Knuckles 2.0 in U of M's running back room.
Justice Haynes is Sonic and Jordan Marshall is Knuckles.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's talk about the Wolverines right now. They stay in the top 25 with that ugly win. They play Northwestern. What do you want to see out of this game, Musa? This is kind of a scary game, a little bit more so than the Purdue game. They go in still favored by a lot, but not that 93% that they were favored in prior. They go in with a 79% chance of winning. I have no doubt the Wolverines will win this game. They're leading, looking at all the metrics, in passing yards, rushing yards, losing in receiving yards, but sacks make up for it. I have no doubt the Wolverines can pull this game off. What do you want to see them fix in this upcoming weekend's bye week for the game against Northwestern?
I want Bryce Underwood to focus on his throws. I saw him miss a lot of um, explosive plays. I saw him miss a lot of easy first downs. We can't let that happen.
Yeah, sitting right now at 3 interceptions and 7 touchdowns. Not bad, but for the $12 million man, he could be playing a little bit better.
I wanted to see Justice Haynes get a lot of rushing yards because I want this man to finish top 5 in college football with rushing yards, maybe even top 3. Now we're heading over to Little Bro's loss against Minnesota.
Yeah, Melissa, it's getting pretty ugly here. Honestly, I can't. I had to wear the shirt last week, so I can't really say anything back. If you haven't seen that, check that out. Last week I wore the U of M shirt. But let's talk about our loss to Minnesota by 3. We made it into overtime. Spartan fans around the state were celebrating for that. Very exciting. At one point in this game, we had a 91.9% chance of winning. That was right before we head into overtime. Exciting stuff. Let's talk a little bit about how the Spartans got there. Aiden Childs was benched for Alessio Milivojevic. Milivojevic put up 311 passing yards. Musa, your backup quarterback put up 300 plus passing yards. That's gotta be, a sign that this guy should have started earlier. We saw Childs get benched early, not early enough for some people, last week's game. Alessio stepped up to the plate, man, and he hit a home run with how he played. He played outstanding. 20 for 28 with 1 passing touchdown. Exciting stuff to see out of the backup. Rushing yards. 127 yards to Elijah Tautalaver. Receiving yards. Rodney Bullard Jr. with 103. Sacks go to Isaac Smith with 1. And tackles, Naki Martinez had 10. Let's go into team stats. 467 total yards, 0 turnovers, which is exciting to see. 19 first downs. That is big for the Spartans. 10 for 96 on penalties. That is almost as embarrassing as the Lions. It is so bad. These penalties are killing us. That's probably the reason we lost this game. Third down, 5 for 15, no good. Fourth down, 0 for 1. Time of possession, 34 to 25, 26. So the Spartans really had a great chance to win this game. The game opened up with a minus 5.5 point favorite to the Gophers, and the Spartans easily covered that, only losing by 3. The game went into overtime, like we said, and it's just getting so embarrassing to watch us not be able to win these games. We elected to go for the field goal after only 4 plays in overtime. So embarrassing that we weren't able to really make it happen. And obviously, in college football, if you don't go first, you know exactly what you have to do. You know if you have to go for it or if you have to kick the field goal. So a massive advantage going second. Unfortunately, we didn't get the opportunity to, and it's got us all questioning, Musa, what do you do with Jonathan Smith? You know, he's not won a single big game in his 2 years here.
Fire him.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's the direction that the fans want things to go. So we talked about it earlier, potential replacements. Is there anyone jumping out to you right now?
Uh, I feel like James Franklin is probably the most realistic one.
Yeah, James Franklin has been extremely, extremely open that he wants to coach again. He wants to win a national championship, even if it's not at Penn State.
Yeah, I like to point something out. You guys should be like Minnesota because they only put up 2 penalties that went for 8 yards.
I know that's clean football. It's great football to see that. And I think with a tough game coming up, I fear we're going to have a worse performance numerically than we did against Minnesota. So we have a bye just like the Wolverines do. But when we come back November 15th, that Saturday, we play Penn State at home. Penn State just fired James Franklin, so 77.6% chance Penn State wins this. Things are looking ugly. I think Jonathan Smith will probably be the coach for this game, but it would not shock me if Jonathan Smith was not on the sidelines for that game.
Emilio, I'm gonna point something out, and I'm gonna ask you what you want to see, what you guys want to work on in the bye week, and what you want to see against Penn State. You guys started the season 3-0. Remember that?
Man, those were the good old days.
Uh, Currently you are 3-6, and your Big Ten record is 0-6. You know what that means?
I believe we're last place in the Big Ten.
Not only that, you guys are coming off a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah. And if you look, other than this last week, we've let the other team put up more than 30 points every single time. So last week was our closest game. That was the one that if we had any chance of winning any game, it was going to most likely be that one. And the reason that being said, although we have a statistically better chance of winning the game against Maryland, we don't know if Jonathan Smith will be on the sideline for that game. So that one is a total wild card, in my opinion.
Miller, what do you want to see? What do you guys want to work on the bye week, and what do you want to see versus Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta clean up those penalties. 10 for 19 just cannot happen. It really cannot happen. It cannot be the reason you lose a game. I think the Spartans put up a much better fight this week than we did against the Wolverines, which is embarrassing because the Wolverines are our #1 rival. So I think if we can play solid football the way we played in the fourth quarter and a little bit in the late third quarter, that was kind of exciting to see. We tied it up at 10-10. We actually ended up leading at 17-10. So I don't know, man. I really have no answers for this exact question, but this is kind of tough to see.
And what do you want to see versus Penn State?
Got to clean up the penalties. Maybe, let's have some fun. Let's have Jonathan Smith moving a little bit. Let's have him talking. I mean, I feel like he's just a statue on the sideline. So that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some emotion. I'd like to see some deep shots. I'd like to see some players playing with heart. Real quick, before we go on to basketball, I'm going to call my player of the week as Alessio Milivojevic. Alessio coming in, stepping up from Aiden Child getting benched, threw for 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 20 for 28. Exciting to see that, honestly. It's a big opportunity, and he made the most of it. So exciting to see that for Alessio. Player of the week is most definitely him. All right, Moose, let's go over to basketball. Pistons are sitting at a 4-2 record. They just beat the Dallas Mavericks in the Mexico City game 2025. Let's talk about the stats. Let's talk about the standings. Musa, right now, the Pistons are 4th in the Eastern Conference, 1 game back from first place. It's early in the season. That's going to be something that we'll check up on at a later date. Thanksgiving is a great time to check back up. By that point, they should have 10 or 12 games. So that'll be a much better understanding of where they are. It's a very long season, so it's early right now. And yeah, we always talk about playoffs for these guys, but they're playing great basketball. They really are.
They are.
Pistons are averaging 116.2 points per game. They're allowing 113 points per game. That 3-point differential is most definitely enough to explain why the Pistons are playing the basketball that they're playing. They're the 20th best offense and the 7th ranked defense. That is exciting to see, a strong defense from the Pistons, especially from the season that they came off last year. Let's talk about last year's a little bit before we talk a little bit more about this year. 44 for 38, points per game 115, so they're already beating what they were last year. Let's hope they can keep this up. Opponents' points per game 113.6, they're right there. 0.1 less this year, which is great. So playoffs are most definitely realistic and should be expected by these guys. They play the Grizzlies 8 o'clock tonight, then they play Utah at home. Anything specific that you'd want to see out of these guys? We know they're playing aggressive already. They're playing with some passion. They're playing with some fun. But anything specific you'd want to see, Musa?
Give Cade the ball more.
Ooh, I like that.
Because he's the best player on the team by far, and I want him to show his ability to us.
Agreed. That would be a lot of fun. He's a great player. I'm glad the Pistons have Cade. The NBA Cup starts Friday the 7th. So this week the NBA Cup starts. That is so exciting. I'm hoping we can get out of the group stage this year, actually make it to the real bracket, because that's always fun. You know, a mid-season tournament gives the fans something to look forward to, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The NBA Cup starts this Friday, like I said, so we'll talk a little bit more about how they played against the Nets in our next episode, so stay tuned for that. But all right, Musa, let's go over to hockey. Red Wings are playing exciting hockey. Red Wings are currently 9-4. Musa, this is so exciting. In the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, 18 points is the second highest in the league, just behind the Colorado Avalanche. But they're not even in our conference, so nothing to worry about there. Pistons are tied for first place. Like I said, their point differential is +3. Always exciting to see that. They're 5-1 at home, so this is something that is kind of extremely important. To be this dominant at home can almost feel like a locked up win. When come playoff times, that home field advantage becomes even more important. So if we can win at home, that is awesome. On the road, we're 4-3, so we even have a positive record on the road. So it doesn't matter where you go, but Pistons are dominant at home.
Yeah, they are very dominant. I don't see why they shouldn't make the playoffs. Maybe this could be the first time in sports history where all 4 major leagues make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. Tigers just did it. Lions probably will do it, depending on if they can fix what they did this weekend. Red Wings should do it, and the Pistons got to do it. Red Wings just played the Sharks last night, won 3-2 in an exciting game. They go on to play Vegas tomorrow, 10 o'clock. So Red Wings are in a great position to go on a deep run. Thanksgiving is the first real checkpoint for the NHL, so we'll have a much better idea of where things stand and how things are at that point in the season. Anything to add, Musa?
We gotta win more games. I don't know why they made the schedule 5 away games in a row, but it doesn't matter. Like you said, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, 100% right. All right, Musa, let's hit the phones. First question comes from someone named Jonathan Smith. I don't think this is our Jonathan Smith. Jonathan Smith asks, who should I start on Saturday? I don't really know what I'm doing. Do I want to score? Should I just lose and get fired? I'm at a loss. Go green. Jonathan Smith. What do we do? I don't think this is the real Jonathan Smith, but let's answer it like it is. Jonathan Smith, you got to be more aggressive. We talked about this in our Michigan State section of the show. You got to be more aggressive. This is getting embarrassing, man. You got to start winning games. You got to start putting stuff together. The team doesn't look like they have a leader. They look like they're all over the place. You got to start talking to the players. We see you on the sideline with your arms crossed. It's getting tough to watch.
Yeah, in my opinion, who I think that you should start, Milivojevic.
100%.
And yes, I do think you should be fired.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to call for someone's job, but man, it feels like we need a change. So Not calling for his job, but we gotta start changing what we're doing because it's not working. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So we can't expect a different result. We got to change what we're doing. Musa, that's all we have for this episode. Let's talk real quick. Excited for college basketball starting up. Izzo is starting his 31st season with the Spartans, so very exciting to see that. It's one of the best parts of the winter season, so looking forward to college basketball. We'll have more on that next episode.
And I know baseball season's over, but let's give a shout out to the Dodgers for winning the World Series.
Dodgers won the World Series in an exciting 11th inning Game 7 that went till 1 in the morning with all the celebration and the on-stage performances. So exciting game from the Dodgers, but Tigers got to be there one day, man.
They'll be there.
Well, that's all we got today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned next week's episode. We're talking Lions, Pistons, Red Wings, college basketball for the first time, and college football. This is Your Detroit Now. All right, Musa, let's hit the phones. First question comes from Haas in Ann Arbor. Haas has a fantasy football question. She wants to know, what happens when someone steals another person's phone and they take their second best receiver? She went into a little bit more detail. She said her brother went on her phone and stole Jackson Smith-Njigba for Romeo Doubs. Jackson Smith-Njigba is currently ranked second as position as wide receiver, and Romeo Doubs is currently 30th. What do you have to say about someone that would go on another player's phone and steal their best player, propose a trade, and accept it?
I don't know who would do that. I don't know why they would do that.
Who would do something like that? There's some crazy stories I've heard in fantasy football, but who would do something like that?
I don't know. She threw her brother under the bus.
Did she throw her brother under the bus?
I don't even know, man. I don't know why he would do that. I don't know why he would go on her phone. I don't know why. I don't know why she wasn't paying more attention.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think it's actually a little bit more her brother's fault than anything.
I'm just flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted. So here's what I would say, Haas. Here's what I would do. One, I'd have your brother a handwritten apology to the entire league, just apologizing for that kind of behavior. Number two, I would have automatic disqualification from the playoffs. This is my opinion. Number three, a loss of a first-round draft pick next year. Absolutely cannot draft in the first round. Lastly, I think a one-game suspension. Any one of those combinations, I think is deserved. The handwritten apology could be probably the funny one, but yeah, I think any or all of those is probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So Musa, anything to add about that?
No.
Seem a little bit quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to add?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
But Emilio, for real, don't put that on. Make another.
Oh, that's
question.
going in.
Oh, no, stop. No, come on. No, I don't. You're not throwing me under the bus. That's not. No, stop. Come on, man. No.